Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Ultimate Human Experience podcast. You already know who it is. It is your girl, Rashida, aka Righteous Sun. And on today's episode, we are talking all about manifesting abundance, money, mindset, and meaning. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Yes, share with family and friends and those who you feel will vibe with this message. With that being said, let's get into it. Welcome, everybody. Yes, it is another episode of the Ultimate Human Experience podcast. I'm so excited for this episode. I've already had a beautiful conversation, not once, but twice, with this amazing practitioner, healer, and beautiful soul and spirit, Kingsley. She is one of the amazing practitioners on the Hera Collective. Yes, the Hera Collective, where you can find all different practitioners, whether that is through ailments or modalities. But today, on this episode, we have welcomed her on to talk all about manifesting abundance. So, welcome, Kingsley. How are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm excited. We were just vibing. I thought we were recording earlier.
I know that's usually what happens. That is usually what happens when we start. As soon as I connect with anybody, the conversation flows, and then you have those moments where you're like, "Ooh, I should have recorded that." But you said some amazing things that stuck with me. That's not going to go anywhere. So, I'm very blessed to have already had a prior conversation with you. Can you tell us all about Kingsley, your gifts and your offerings, and what you share with the world?
Yeah. So technically, I am a breathwork facilitator, but I don't like the word breath work because that means breath is doing work and breath does not do work. Breath does what it's supposed to do. But I am tons of gifts in the world that I'm very attuned to, like just in energy, ability to see people very easily, um, calming spirit, amplifying spirit, Aries. So we're the lead. We lead with fire. And I'm just excited here to share my what I think the world should be, in my humble opinion. Or unhumble because I'm an Aries, but that's okay.
Well, I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. I'm a Libra, so we are literally the opposite of one
Hi.
another. So this is very fitting, and I do have a lot of Aries in my life, and so I understand where you guys come from, and I appreciate what you bring to the table. So this is going to
My
be a
bestie is an Aries or is a Libra. Cam.
really,
I
yeah.
always say Libra alone.
Uh,
Um,
yeah, yeah, you're totally right about that one. My partner is an Aries, and my 4-year-old is an Aries too.
yes.
Yeah, so I
Okay, got
get
Aries in the house.
right. So I get the best of the male as well as the female. And I'm appreciating both sides of it. And then I'm also seeing the middle ground of what they both bring that are very similar to one another. And I appreciate that. I also try to, I don't want to say harness the energy, but like I get what that Aries energy brings, right? It's like, and we're allowed to swear here, it's like no fucks given. And like, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because Libras, we want to keep the peace all the
I
time.
know the balance. Whenever I need advice, if I'm going too far, I call my Libra best friend. I'm
Yeah.
like, let me know if this is little. I'm tipping the scale right now. Let me know.
Sometimes Libras, we need that energy because we need to learn how to sometimes tip the scales. It's okay to do that every so often, right? Sometimes we just want to throw the whole thing, but we're like, okay, how can we find a way to tip it every so often
Yeah.
to benefit us, right? So I feel you on that one. So on today's episode, we're talking all about manifesting abundance, money, mindset, and meaning. Something that I'm still working on. I'm not gonna lie, um, especially in these times, it's very different. And I mean, what do I know? I'm a mom now, but like, as I think about it, I think about being a child, and I, to be honest, being a child, I knew. like I just knew that my mom didn't have enough. I knew my family
Yeah.
didn't have enough, so I wouldn't ask for more than what was given to
Yeah.
me.
I think that's a lot of it's a lot of our stories of just that hyper awareness,
Yeah.
especially if you go to a school where you're around kids with money.
Hmm.
It's different when you grow up around poor all around, right? You don't quite grasp where the tipping scale is for it because everyone around you is pretty similar. But when you go to a space where you can significantly see the difference, oh, and you'll know what asking does because you'll know that it hurts. If I ask you for 20 now, what am I taking away from?
Mm. I appreciate that you said that. Because yeah, that's how I grew up. And I notice that over time, I still adapt or adopt a lot of those ways of thinking, and I'm slowly moving out of that. I'm feeling like I'm slowly moving out of that victim mindset
Yeah.
and empowering myself more,
Yeah.
worrying less, and feeling confident in my abilities, and knowing that the universe will provide for me, not just in material,
Yeah.
because that was what it was based on growing up, was that everything was material based, like you don't have enough to
Well, we live
food.
in a material world, so it's okay that it is. I think what you said of like worrying less is such a hard thing for people to do, right? Because how do you worry less when bills are coming?
Mm,
How do you worry less when you haven't eaten today? So it's such a it is a long journey, and quite frankly, I'm still every moment that I have to wrangle myself back in to be like, oh. And you said victim mentality. You weren't a victim of poverty. You're in a system where that existed. You were not a victim of asking for something that you wanted. You were a child asking for it.
mm,
So constantly reminding yourself in any moment, even in college when I got all of this money that should have went to books and I blew it on things that I wanted. That wasn't me being a victim of it. It's me having something that I never had before and I wanted to buy the things that I wanted. So none of it, I have to remind myself, none of it was wrong. None of it, you couldn't have saved on avocado toast to get you to, that's all a lie. And these are the lies that will keep you in the position that you're at.
mm. I appreciate that. How was it for you in terms of that click, that moment? Or do you, I mean, it sounds like we all were human, so we still have those moments, but what was that thing for you that said, okay, enough is enough, and the way that you express yourself is very much, which I appreciate. Like, I'm gonna take that and be like, yeah, you're right. It was some things that I never had before, and yeah, I wanted to do things,
Yeah.
and I
And that's
shouldn't.
okay.
Yeah, I shouldn't shame myself for those moments.
And
But
even if you want it now, that's okay. Even
right,
if you get your next paycheck and you buy a boat, that's okay.
yeah,
It's okay. It's a human experience. We want to experience as much of life. You said the clicking moment. I think I graduated from college and started my own business and broke up with my business partner and had $0, 0 cents, had to move home. And one of the worst feelings in the world is being broke in college, but one of the worser feelings is being broke as an adult. Like, you know, because you know what money is and you get why you can't do these things. And I would have all these calls with these amazing people that wanted to help me, but it costs money. So how can I join this thing? Which sets you back and sets you back. And it's been a long journey of undoing. And it started with breath work, which is what I do now. And it moved into meditation, which moved me into hypnosis, which therapy, and literally like looking myself in the mirror and telling myself, you got this. You just got it. Whatever you need, you got it. I've seen you do it in multitude of ways. That water has never run out.
mm,
But just changing the way that you talk about money. I listen to so many things. They were saying how money is feminine. It's a feminine thing. And so when I imagine money, I call her treasure. And I kind of think of her as like my little whoop de woo because I'm queer. And like, could you imagine money just coming and laying next to you? How would that feel if money just comes and lays next to you? And how safe and secure you would feel if money is just laying next to you. And we can use money because abundance is way more than that, but we can stick with just this one physical material thing because at the end of the day, money is the way that the world works. So I started like playing with that, and every time I got paid, I used to say, "Hey, girl, how you doing, babe? What up, Bookie? You ready to do something crazy together?" Right? Because if your money's your best friend, that ride or die, when she shows up, you know it's on and popping. Let's make something shake together. And playing with it that way instead of when I would spend it, I'd be like, "Okay, babes, love you. I'll see you soon. It's your best friend across the pond. Love you. This was really great. I'll see you soon, sooner than we expect, right? And start retraining the way that I talk about money, literally just the way that I talk about it, the way that I feel about it.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that.
Yes, that's my goofy. That's my baby. I can't remember the black girl because it was on TikTok, but she was like, money always chooses me. When it looks around the crowd, it picks me because it knows that, like money picks me. Picks
Mm,
me. She got my back.
I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Um, what do you think in terms of society and how we portray the thought of abundance? It's slowly coming out of that whole tangible, like, yes, money is everything, in terms of, transactional and things that we got to purchase. But we are slowly shifting out of that mindset of what
Yeah.
abundance is starting to look like, right? Before it was very much about the material, and now we are really looking within ourselves and saying, wow, that abundance is being around people that make you feel full and whole. Abundance is everything that we have presently, right? We are really trying to focus in on what is it that we have right now. So
Yeah.
what do you think that how has that affected society, and what do you think the shift was?
Um, I think it's like grasping that in order to have more, you have to like see what you have, right? It's like never checking your bank account. So like how would you know what you can buy?
Mm,
Never checked it. I think we're really grasping that abundance is a frequency. It's a feeling. I think we're really understanding that abundance is resources, wealth, community, right? Health. It is the abundance of health, right? We're learning that that word is actually an umbrella and not just a word.
mm,
That is the change of society, and I think a lot of people who are really waking up can tell that like material can only get you so far. We know that. Even though we're in a material world, it can only get you so far. It can get you really far in this game, but like what game are we playing? That's the thing. Like I'm playing chess over here. I'm not playing checkers. Like so I think people really understanding that they know if they want more, truly want more, they have to explore what more looks like, and they know that it's not the lens of just money. And it's so funny, like if I say money is the root of, everyone would go, "Oh, evil," right? And that's, we know that's not true. We just know that that's not true. And so all of these things that people keep undoing and undoing and undoing equal where we're at right now.
mm.
And I tell myself money is the root to the joy and happiness I get to express with all people that I know deserve it.
Mm. Can you repeat that again?
Money is the root to all joy and happiness that I get to express with all people that deserve it. And you can change it to whatever you want. Money is the joy of making art freely and liberally. Money is the right, just money is the root of how my children get to see the greatest parts of the world. Because I'm going to take my money and travel with them, right? And so, like, change money is the root of what? And you got to say it over and over and over and over until you never hear the other version of it.
Mm. I love this conversation.
And I'm happy I get to be here because maybe 4 years ago I would have been like, "This is," it would have been a different story because I had all the things knocked out of me and had to sit there and be like, "What is the point of all of this?
Mm.
What is the point? Why did I have every single moment till now? What is the reason? What am I supposed to do with this? What is all this information?"
Right? Yeah, the influx of information, especially with social media and the way things are changing for the different generations that come along. We just did an episode yesterday talking about like trauma informed wellness, and it always stems back to intergenerational trauma or those who've come before and their mindset and how, because just like what you said, because of the system, and how it was created, it was being passed down to those of color who, in their own country, would have seen abundance very differently. And then were stripped of that and stripped of everything, and then have been given this other narrative and have had to carry that, and it's been passed down. And we continue to see that happen, but we also continue to see that there is change that is happening. What would you say then for the next generation? Do you see that it is, because it's funny, I mean, because we have social media and we see everything like right away,
Yeah.
we are
Well,
seeing.
whatever perception people choose to let us see in whatever lens we choose to receive it in, right? Because social media isn't real either.
Yeah.
It's whatever version and narrative someone wants to see, and we're lucky enough to have people who tell the truth on their social media, but it is their version of truth.
Mm.
Like this, me telling you my money thing, this is my version of money. That's what I believe, and that's what I get to tell, and whoever wants to perceive and listen to it. But sorry, I cut you off. Keep going.
No, 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 that's okay. No, that's okay. I
It's
love the
like
flow of
constant
this.
discernment, constant discernment.
Yeah, I think that's really important to talk about the perception of it, because I'm over here in Toronto, and we are definitely seeing an uptick in terms of younger people in their teens that are robbing and doing things that, like, as a mom, I'm like, where are your parents? Like, what is happening? And the only thing I could think of is that this need for something more, this need for the things that you're seeing through social media, and you realize that
Yeah.
you can't get it, that you are taking other means that
Well,
are
yeah.
not, I would say it's like it's not them, but it's something that's being fed, and so their mind gets tricked to believe like this is what I should be doing.
Well, rich people rob, but it's not robbing, right? So these kids doing it, I guess, is wrong, but rich people can do it. I always question, what are they stealing, right? What exactly are they stealing? Are they stealing like the mom that was arrested for stealing a pump, and she's 9 months pregnant from
Mm,
Target? She was arrested in New York. What was she stealing? A pump, and she's pregnant. She needs a pump.
mm,
From a $1 billion corporation that could lose a pump, in my humble opinion.
right.
They could lose a pump or two for all I care, and not me telling people to steal. But I always question what people are stealing, especially when I'm grocery shopping and I see houseless people run out of the store with food, and there's someone there just berated that they're stealing food. Heaven forbid someone has to eat.
Mm,
And I often think about, like, I saw something on TikTok, obviously, because that's where I see everything, and they said that no person of color has um, generational trauma. They are all products of a traumatic system that
mm,
each one had to endure. And so I think about those kids that are stealing, they are quite literally just products of a system that was created to cultivate. And so for younger generations, I can't even say that they see this online and they want these things and they steal, because they're not stealing from Louis Vuitton. They don't even get into that shop. They security follows them around in Sephora. They're not stealing from Sephora, right?
right.
They're stealing from these places that have the essential things that they need. And even if they steal a MacBook, they need it for school. You need computers for, you get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's really hard for me to look at younger generations and be like, God, they have, because everything, you can't even apply to jobs in stores anymore. You have to have a computer to apply to jobs. You have to have internet to apply to jobs. Um, and then you have to have a phone so they can call you to get the job, interview set up. So there's so many barriers that has been set up for each generation to either make it or not make it. Especially the way that America works. I am team, if you need it, how else are you going to get it?
Mm, I
I
get.
will never stand in someone's way of making sure that they feed their children.
Mhm. Yeah, I get that. In terms of like not even just manifesting abundance, but I hear that you're talking about children, and it brings up something that I talk about with my kids all the time now. In school, they don't teach you about these
Yeah.
things. They don't teach you
No.
about how to manage money. They're not teaching you the importance. And then you go out into the real world, you become an adult, and you start fucking it all up because you're like, well, nobody taught me this. They didn't teach my parents. They didn't teach those that came
Yeah.
before. And
Purposely, they didn't teach us, man.
and
And
then
you didn't fuck it up. You did what you you know.
right, because it wasn't taught to you. They were teaching you a lot of things that, to be honest, I have like older like nephews and nieces, and they're like, I don't use half of the things that I was taught in school. I don't use any of it.
Yeah.
So,
Pythagorean theorem, super great. Now we learn that there are more ways to solve it because two black girls actually solved it like 9 different ways. So that's now even useless for me. The one way that I know, there's 9 more ways. Yeah, manifesting let's just do manifesting money. Let's not even do abundance. Let's because that's what most people do. There are so many ways to manifest money. And I think what I've learned is not just manifesting like a point set of money. So like getting out a magic candle and writing $100 for a bill, right? I need $100 to pay off my phone bill. That's what I'm going to manifest. I used to do those spells and start wherever you start in life. That's a great way, start wherever you start. But like that gets you the $100 for the bill, and then you don't have money again. So like what's the point of that? It's like I'm thirsty, so I'm going to drink a glass of water. I'm going to buy a water bottle from the grocery store, but I don't. Where else would I get water? You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
So when I started like manifesting money, like money, it started to do these things. And there are people say like the 369 method. I don't really care what you do. That's none of my business. I learned to manifest opportunity for things. And so I love one of my other jobs is amazing. And I get to work with women that black and brown women. And I used to get paid so little for these jobs. And I'm like, universe, there has to be. I want to do this job. I want to work with these people. There has to be money there. There has to be. And every time I would work on manifesting, it would be specifically for that job with that people for more money. I just kept saying more, more. And every time I got a job that was more, I kept saying, this is great, but more. And I got another one that was, and I said, this is great, but more. And I get it, and it's the thing that I like and love, right? So when you're starting to manifest money specifically, I'm going to say stop doing it for the exact thing that you need because the universe listens to you. It's going to give you that exact thing. Start doing it for more opportunities, more ways that you can show your talent and get paid from, more ways to connect so that something bigger can come.
I appreciate that. There's a fear though. Now I'm speaking like, from that other lens of like, there's that fear of showing up with the abilities and the gifts and the talents. Perhaps because you were told like that can't make enough money,
Yeah.
right? Or
Yeah.
that thing, you know what I mean? Because they were taught that you have to work this 9 to 5. But truth be told, like after that pandemic happened, people were like, I don't
You don't
need
have to do that.
that.
But that was debunked. And so the next thing will be debunked. And I constantly remind myself that everything that has been created has been invented. There are so many firsts. Beyonce is having so many firsts. Zendaya's had so many firsts. Beyonce's been in this system for how long, and she's still having firsts. And so you telling yourself something, debunk it. Prove that it is not true. Because quite literally, we've learned that the Pythagorean theorem, you could only do it one way. And not only was it debunked once, it was debunked 8 other times. There are 9 new ways you can do this thing that they told us that you could only do one way. Pluto's not a planet anymore. Debunked. Moved out of the way. And so I'm constantly remind yourself, yeah, if that's true, fine. Or do you want to prove that it's not? Wouldn't that be so fun if you get to go back to your teacher that told you that you'll never have a calculator? You need to learn to do it with your iPhone that has a calculator on it saying, remember when you told me that I couldn't carry a calculator, which I did do. Love my 4th grade teacher, Miss Dudek. I was like, hey, girl, girl, like we got him. We got him. Take that check mark off my little report card.
Right.
So debunk yourself, debunk everyone else, prove it wrong, prove the universe wrong, prove society wrong. Let them know that, hey, what you said is actually not true. And here's the evidence. And make a game out of it. If you need to do a game, roll the dice on yourself over and over and over again until you get that new thing.
I like that. I like the fact that you are making it so lighthearted.
Yes.
Like what you said, it's playing a game. And I think that brings back like this thought of like our inner child that was taught that it has to be this negative thing. When we think about money, we get very stressed, we get worried, we right away think there's not enough. When we're ready to pay a bill, our heart starts throb, you know what I mean, pumping, and like it's like, oh, because we
Well,
are
it's a
feeling
lot.
like it's a depletion when, like what you said, it's I'm paying this, see you later, like I'll see you soon. Like I appreciate that. How can people then check in with their inner child? How can you reparent or unlearn things that has been so ingrained,
Yeah.
and probably still to this day you see that perhaps people see that within their own family dynamic or with their parents still, of
Yeah.
like, well, how are you going to survive? Because if your parents or those that came before you are still in that mindset, and then you say, okay, well, like I decided I'm gonna do this, and then you have them like, "Nah, that how you gonna do that? That ain't gonna work." It
Yeah.
then starts to then trick your
Re-
brain, or you
yeah.
go backwards, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Well, maybe they're right. Maybe they're the self." That doubt comes in, and at the end of the day, it's not yours. It's that has been placed on you. How now can
So,
you reparent and unlearn that for your
so
inner child?
two things. First, I'm going to say it's not yours. It was never yours. You were brought into the world and everyone placed everything on you immediately. You weren't a full baby thinking these things, right? Everything that you learned is not yours, right? Nothing of it. You get to now decide with all of the experience and other people's knowledge and your ability to have discernment and your ability to resource what the thing is going to do. I could tell you my hair is blue and you could say, that's purple, that's purple, and I'm like, when I bought the dye said it's blue, so I say it's blue, right? It's up to you and to decide. So that's the thing. But let's go back to like the you and reparenting yourself, and then I'll talk about your parents. So first, there are orders of operations all of the time. The first thing, I'm not going to be buy this book, do this thing. The first thing is start doing breath work. Start breathing and start learning what you can control in yourself. Start learning your breath. Start playing with it. I can hold my breath for 2 minutes and 30 seconds and it blows my mind sometimes what I can do with my body. If I can do this with my body, what can I do with my bank account? Baby. Okay? Start with breath work. Once you start getting breath work down every day, 5 minutes, start meditating. What are we meditating? Great question. Childhood self, giving so much love to that version. Mistakes that you've made that you need to just go back to those places. Your higher self, your ancestry team, your round table. Start meditating all of these things. I didn't say money yet. Start meditating these things, the connections. Then hypnosis. Hypnosis is the cheat code. I'd say start there, but if you don't know how to do breath work and meditation, hypnosis is not going to work well. Hypnosis allows you to go back to these childhood moments and create a new narrative, delete the narrative, accept the narrative. Hypnosis is great. There is Maria something P. She's got a London accent. She's got some free hypnosises on YouTube. Or you can pay for her class. I don't believe in paying money to do things like that when it's free. Just do the free version of it. And those hypnosises, it's like 30 straight days. So every night when you go to sleep, you put that bad boy on. Every morning when you wake up, you put that bad boy and start. If you want to buy a book, this is the time to buy the book now that you've done the free version. So, I mean, I've read a couple different money books. I loved We Should All Be Millionaires by Rachel Rodgers. I thought that was a great way for me to reframe what I believed I deserved in life. One of the things that stuck out to me was her saying, if you don't want to clean the house because it's taking away from yourself, hire a maid. I can't afford a maid. Research how cheap the maid will be. If it's going to be paying your child money to make sure that the dishes on Monday are not you need to make that happen for yourself. And that blew my mind of like all the things I thought I needed to do when she's like, no, you don't. You need to do the things that you want to do to make you money. So that was a great book. Another good book is Creating Your Limitless Life by Dr. Esther. She was one of my mentors, and she really made me stop saying what was true. The music industry, they do that. She's like, so what? Did they do that for this person? No. Then why are you saying that that's true? Oh, okay. So, like, really undoing the mind. And then, last but not least, start putting your spells together for the greatest version of your abundance. Start really dreaming big with yourself and play. Say out you're gonna find $5 on the ground, and the day you find the $5, you do something bigger. Say you're gonna find $20. Start playing with yourself, and really enjoy the process of creating your life, this thing that you get to make. So that's for you. Okay, those are the orders of operations. For your parents, we talked about this a little bit before, and I will quote myself of I will not be miserable watching misery. What I choose to do now, I don't let my parents affect me. If that means not telling them your plans, that's fine by me. I don't need to share my plans with anybody. especially if you know they're going to tell you their fears, right? Now you're aware, you've done the meditation, you've done the hypnosis, you've read the books, you're starting to manifest a little bit for yourself. If you know that that's not going to get you what you need, don't do it. Don't talk, don't, just show. My dad now listens to frequencies. He used to tell me all the time, I ain't listening. I'm trying to put myself in the frequency of it. He will go to sleep with them. If you hear it turn off, it's because he's awake, right? My mom just did a spell with me yesterday, right? Let them lead them to water. Let them drink it. I just do me. Now everyone calls me when they need something. That's great. Good. But I wasn't preaching to them, we need to fix this. No, I don't need to do anything. If you wanted to learn, you'll ask me. They're adults. And let them suffer. They'll start to see how great you're doing, and they'll be like, "What? How'd you do that?" I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's called therapy.
Yeah, I love that. Wow. I don't even know. Like, amazing. Thank you. First, I
Yeah,
just want to say thank you for sharing. Truly honored to be having this conversation with you. I always feel like when I meet new people, whether it doesn't even matter, just when I meet new people, that the conversations that I have will teach me new things, will allow me to sit and reflect. And I'm definitely going to reflect after this is done. Um, and then it gets me excited because we're always learning.
yeah,
And the only way to do that is through connections
yeah.
and opportunities like this, like you said, opportunity. It gives me great joy to be able to connect and to learn more. And then it's like, okay, now I want to put it to work. I want to put it to practice.
Yeah.
So I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, these are great questions. Really great questions. I love talking about money. It's one of my favorite things to talk about. She knows. She's like, that's my girl. She gonna represent me.
I want to talk about breath work.
Yeah.
Now, when we think about breath work, like what you said, it's something that happens very naturally. But it's also not something that I see a lot of people doing. First of all, it happens naturally, but that shallowness that starts to happen when we are feeling stressed or overwhelmed, we don't even realize that we're doing it.
Yeah.
What was that thing for you that said, this is what I want to share with
Yeah.
others?
I think because I'm such a emotionally driven person, breathwork made me realize how intentional I can be. And so my track coach in college used to call me weddings and funerals because I could literally come in and control whether it was going to be a great day for everyone or a horrible day for everyone just by being. And I could have got a bad test or something and I didn't want to be at practice or something, and it would ruin everyone's day because that's the type of Aries energy that I carry. And you've met those people. They light up the room or they tear the room apart. And it was my ex when we were dating during COVID. He would always do these breath things to like literally like calm me down because we're like fighting and I'm like blowing my head off. And he's like, you gotta breathe, you gotta chill, you gotta take a breath. And when COVID happened, we took like this free breathwork masterclass thing. And oh my goodness, the thing about that I love about Aries is we're all or nothing. If we like something, we love it. We're like, let's do it forever. So I did it. I did it every single day. And what was the coolest part about me doing it is being able to control how I felt, which in a world where you don't control anything, it's really freaking cool to make yourself feel joy, to make yourself feel happiness, to make yourself feel courage. It's like really cool. And it's even cooler to take, like, if you're having a day of anxiety and like balling it up and in your breath and pushing it out of you and like literally feeling it go away. Like that's just the coolest part of breath work for me, right? And so I started just exploring all of that. And then just like because I'm in Aries, I would tell all my friends, like, whenever you need it, let me know. Like I got you. And they would come to me and I do like breathwork sessions with them. until I started like doing it with my clients right before we'd start a session. And I'm going to do it with you. We're going to do my favorite thing ever. But doing it with them where they were like telling a friend, and then I would like speak at a corporal event, and I would do breath work with them before, and I would host retreats, and I would do breath work and it just became this like integrated part of my life, to the point where like if my sisters are having a bad day, they call me to breathe with them. Like, I'm going to breathe you down. Um, I went to my mom's school and taught seventh graders and eighth graders breath work, which was just cool for them to know, like, you get to make yourself smile today. Are you excited? Using nothing but your imagination. Are you ready? Um, so yeah, it's just this play. I want to call it breath play. You really get to play with yourself and energy, and see all of these things that you get to create physically inside of yourself. Whoa, what a cool thing to do. And it all started because I was a crazy, angry Aries, and I needed to figure out how to not be so damn angry all the time and stop cussing people out. That's how it started. Quite literally, stop cussing people out. You got to breathe. Yes. Okay. But we're going to do the balloon breath. This is my breath. This is mine. It is, you can't steal it from me. Any person listening to this, if I see this on TikTok, you better tag me. So you don't have to sit up any kind of way. The breath is going to fix that. I feel like sometimes people like try to put themselves in a perfect position. No, that'll fix that. And this is why I do it this way. We're going to do 3 breaths together. It's going to be through your mouth the whole time, in and out. You're going to breathe in for as much as you can and hold your breath at the top. And I'm just going to say in and just keep like a balloon. And then I'm just going to say out and through your mouth again, blowing it out. We're going to do it 3 times. Okay, listeners, don't be driving. If you're doing
FYI, if you are listening to this, make sure that you press pause. Make sure you are at home or you're feeling comfortable wherever you are to do this. But what's interesting is I was about to ask you prior to this, I'm like, you got to show me something.
Yeah, this is my favorite one. This is in between meetings. It's 3 seconds of breath. So go ahead and take a deep breath in through your mouth. Hold your breath. Take in more. Hold it. Take in more. Hold it. One more time. Nice. Good job. Squeezing and let it out. In through your mouth. Here we go. Breathing in. Hold it. In. In. Good job. One more. In. Good. Squeezing it. Blowing out. Last one. Make this your very best one. Breathing in. 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 It. One more time. Squeeze it and let it out. And you'll start to feel buzzing in your third eye very naturally. You'll feel the shoulders dropping. Look at how the posture was just fixed. And that's it. Three quick breaths in between.
I appreciate that. You know what I noticed too is that on the last one, I was able to suck in more.
Yeah.
And that was pretty cool.
Yeah, because we did 4 that time. Mm-hmm. Just one more. See if you can get one more in. Yeah. And I play with, I mean, you could do it that way. If you want to do it speeding up, like, I call it the balloon breath because it's easy to remember that you're expanding like a balloon. And yeah, I hope anyone listening, they're like, whoa, all right, it's 3 breaths right when you start your day. I didn't say, sit there and be still. Just 3 breaths, start your day.
Yeah. I appreciate that too, because that's a tough thing for a lot of people that I connect with, where they say like meditation is hard. I can't do those things. And we're in a society where things are constantly going, that if you can find that moment, just like with that small breath work, it's something that you can incorporate into your everyday. It becomes just part of a practice, part of your lifestyle to incorporate that. Do you find that you utilize your breath work during moments of stress, like in terms of ways to calm you down in certain
Yeah.
moments. Does
Oof.
that one in particular help, or
Yeah.
is there something else that you would recommend for people to do in those moments when they can feel themselves getting overwhelmed
Yeah.
in a stressful situation or experience?
Yeah, so that one is great if you want to add tapping to
Mhm.
move energy, like when you breathe out, just tapping. They're called K27s, but it's your clavicle, right? That chest part of your body. So tapping that when you're breathing out really helps. Especially if you only have a couple seconds to gather yourself, right? That's a really great one. But there are tons, right? The box breath, triangle breath, breath of life, which is 4, 7, 8. There's Wim Hof, but there's so many different versions of breath. I think just like playing with, that's why I call it breath play, figuring out for yourself what's going to calm you down. The breath work that I do like that, I will do those 3 breaths before I do like a long hour breath work. Before I do a 10-minute meditation, it gets me right to center. I love it so much. It gets all the people that I'm with right in. It's my go to. But like if your go to is doing fire breaths really quickly for a minute, to just feel it building up so you can push all of the things out of you, totally do that. I think like when I'm discovering breath work, because it's so much more, it's like, energy work, meditation, affirmations. If after each time you breathe, you want to say like, I feel calm, I feel zen, or I feel clear, or I'm able to say what I need to say in this meeting, with confidence, with courage, right? You use it to help you in more ways than just breathing,
Mm.
because it is a tool in life like all of these other things, and it's a great amplifier. So I use breath for calming me down, amping me up, getting me prepared to meditate, or just because I've had a weird day where I don't feel gratitude, so I just need to breathe in some gratitude. Not that gratitude is not happening to me, I don't have access to it, so I'm going to get myself some access to it.
I appreciate that you say that, like giving yourself access to it. We are constantly like I said, we're constantly going that certain days it's almost like you're not giving yourself time or space to feel the gratitude even though it is happening because we're so busy with everything else
Yeah.
that you're saying, well, no, I can make time for that. Like it's there. I just have to be present enough to receive it. I have to be present enough to even know that it's there, but it's always there.
It's never left you. It's kind of like when your kids say like, "Thank you, mommy," you're like, "You're welcome," and you move on.
Mm,
Instead of being like, "You are so welcome, darling.
yeah.
I'm so grateful I got to feed you today, baby." You
Yeah.
know, it's always there. We just life. We just human. We can't help it. We just
It's
human.
very true. It's very true. Um, that just helps me to understand like the theme, especially is being present. That's what I'm getting out of this episode is that it's
Yes.
to being present, and breath allows us to do that. That's the thing that works on its own. We don't have to tell it to do that. It just happens, which means that we can have moments where we can focus on the breath and pay attention to how we are feeling in that moment. It's paying attention to the body, and what is the body telling us, whether it's telling us, are we feeling stressed in that moment, are we feeling anxious, are we feeling gratitude, are we feeling joy, and being present in that moment to receive it.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, because money does not like when you are rude to it. She does not like that. She said, "Did you say thank you?" Excuse me?
Thank you so much. Wow, what a conversation. I feel like I could go on for forever, but I do feel like you hit so many points. You were like, "Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da." Like it was beautiful. I'm very grateful and thankful for
Yay.
all of the wisdom, the insight, the tips and the tools. Not only the tips and the tools, but you gave us breath work. You allowed us to have a small practice, and I hope that the listeners will have an opportunity to utilize that to go back and listen to it again if they need some guidance with it. But you can find Kingsley, who is a breath work facilitator. Can I say that?
Yeah, I want a breath play facilitator. Can we
Ah,
coin that? Can we? Can
yeah.
we?
breath play. I don't think I've ever heard that before. And I
Really?
actually
No.
think I like that more than breath work, because that word work always comes with, it feels like you got to do more, right? There's a this resistance like, oh, I got to work, but like breath play, that's what the ultimate human experience is about. It's about having fun and playing and connecting to your inner child. And you literally did that today. And I am so grateful and appreciative of that.
Yay.
Please remember that you can find Kingsley and many other practitioners on the Hira Collective. It is not just a collective of practitioners. We are trying to really grow a collective globally to connect not only just people to connect with each other, but practitioners to connect with each other as well. And you can find all of that on the Hira Collective as it continues to grow, and you can find them through symptoms, ailments, or modalities. Thank you again, Kingsley. You can find Kingsley on the Here Collective. Like, if you want to play, if you want to have some fun, you, you can check her out on the Here Collective. This is the Ultimate Human Experience Podcast. We are out. Peace.